The 2026 Little League Softball Regionals on ESPN are presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, and it brings us to the final game of Day 3 of the New England region at Brain Field in Bristol. The Gorham Little Leaguers from Maine battle Concord National Youth Softball Little League from New Hampshire. In Day 1 of the elimination bracket, winner of this game matches up against Vermont tomorrow bright and early at 10 a.m. As we look at the New England map across one of 6 regions going on across the United States, Jesse Burkett Little League out of Worcester, Massachusetts, the first club to be ousted in the summer of 2026. And with that, we welcome you to Brain Field in Bristol. She's the Olympian Haley McClenny. I'm Casey Roll. Maine has had a lot of success with the lineup through their 2 games. Sophia Santiago has been the key linchpin. How does she keep Maine clicking as they go throughout the tournament?
Yeah, well, this is a Maine lineup that can really attack you 1 through 12. Sophia Santiago so far has been the star for this Maine team, had a big home run in their opening round win. She's going to be the key cog in that machine to keep this Maine lineup rolling. But I'm looking at Natalie McCurdy hitting behind her in the 3 spot as well to try to protect her. But this is a Maine group, like I said, that can really attack 1 through 12. And to build on that point, Nora Emlet, that's going to hit in the 9 spot today, is actually their RBI leader. But they can manufacture runs in so many different ways. A ton of speed, a ton of athleticism. They're going to steal bases. They do such a good job of putting the ball in play, elite hand-eye coordination. And they're going to have their hands full against Taylor Latorra, who's going to get the ball in the circle for New Hampshire. She
gave up 11 runs in the first inning against Vermont yesterday. What's going to be her complexion to right the ship in this first inning today?
Yeah, well, the big thing with Latorra is she had 10 walks in that first game. She only gave up 3 hits, so I think for her it's just going to be about commanding the strike zone and owning these Maine hitters early, attacking the zone early, getting ahead in counts, high leverage situations so she can use her off speed and use a little bit more of her movement. Also, too, trust your defense, right? She's got a good defense that's solid, that plays behind her really well, so don't be afraid to let these Maine hitters put the ball in play and try to get some quick outs.
One of 2 Latorra sisters, Taylor in the circle, has been to Bristol 3 consecutive years. In her final year of Little League, can she deliver New Hampshire a victory against these Maine Little Leaguers? Sloan Tate, the shortstop, has been the linchpin to this Maine order throughout the 3 games, has led off each of all 3 matchups. She leads off today. Ryan Yamagata is the home plate umpire. The crew chief, Brian Poe, is at first base. Bradley Wathens at second. John Wagner is at third. Two trips in the last 3 years for Gorham Little League to Bristol. Entering this tournament, 3 teams were not here from last year. These are 2 teams who are very familiar with this part of the country at this time of the year. 1-2 misses high and wide. The count to Tafe evens up.
And so far, I like what I'm seeing from Latorra. Looks to be in a little bit more command of the zone so far. Worked ahead early there. And now he can expand the zone, try to get a big swing and miss. That should be right there.
Here's the payoff. Inside and down. Tafe draws a walk to lead off the afternoon. She's been on base in every game. And here's Sophia Santiago, who's arguably been the best hitter of this regional. Has had multiple hits in Maine's first 2 games of this tournament. Takes a strike.
She's been so fun to watch. I mean, just the ball pops off her bat. A strong young lady, uses her lower half really well in her swing, has great pitch selection as well. You don't see her swing and miss too often. She's been a little spark plug in the 2 spot for Maine so far in this tournament.
She's played excellent defense behind the plate as Maine's catcher. Is hitting the top 3rd in every game. You know, it's a bit odd in professional baseball, a lot of the professional leagues, you don't see a lot of catchers hit for high average or power. I'd always assume that catchers would have a better eye at the plate, naturally seeing the ball coming across the plate every time they're playing defense. As that's bounced down the line at third. That trickles all the way to the wall. Tafe is getting the green light all the way from first. Santiago's thinking about third. She's in there. She's thinking about it all. Santiago's got her second inside the park homer of the tournament. It's Sophia's world. We're just living it in Bristol.
We talk about the power of Sophia Santiago, and it's no more on display than it is right here in this at-bat. Look how she's going to turn and burn. She gets ahead of this pitch, drives it down the line, and with her speed, there is never a doubt this was going to go for extra bases. She comes all the way around to score, and Maine making a statement early here, already up 2-0. I got deja vu watching Sophia Santiago run around the base.
A couple days ago, it was on a rain-filled Saturday early evening. Today, on a sun-kissed Monday afternoon. And the count to Natalie McCurdy evens up, or at least goes to 0-2, excuse me. She showed that she only needs a couple runs of support in the circle before she can really dial in. She's already got 2 runs of support in this first inning. Two and two. She's been the winning pitcher in all but one of Gorham Little League's matchups this year between regular, post, and now the regionals. Count runs full.
This feels like a really big pitch coming up here for Latora. A lot of times if you give up a big hit, it can be easy to kind of let your command go away, not wanting to allow the hitters to square something up.
3-2 missed outside. First 3 base runners of the inning reach for Maine.
Now batting number 77, Taylor School.
Taylor School steps to the plate. The cleanup hitter all tournament for the Maine Little Leaguers takes out wide. Learned how to play third base in the postseason between Maine's run through districts and the state tournaments. Swinging a ball-fisted foul wide of first base to even the count.
And that's the pitch right there for Taylor Latora that she's going to need to continue to work. When she's missing, she's just missing a little bit up or a little bit away. If she can continue to throw that ball, not necessarily over the middle part of the white part of the plate, but hitting those black corners, she's going to be in a lot better shape.
Throw over the first base, glances off of Lily Latora's glove, not far enough to advance McCurdy an extra base. What do you attribute those misses to? Is that body control? Is that arm motion? What do you contribute that to?
Yeah, it could just be something as far as, you know, her timing goes with her mechanics, making sure that that stride leg is not getting too wide, but she's staying in that power line, as pitchers like to call it, of moving her entire body and her entire momentum towards the plate. You can see sometimes she'll step a little bit wide, which allows that ball to get to the outside part of the plate.
Swinging the ball knuckled to third base. Lauren Plodzik zips it across. First out of the inning recorded by New Hampshire. It does advance McCurdy into scoring position to second base.
Great job by Latora there, just missing a barrel. Throw the ball over the plate, let your defense work, feed your defense, get a big timeout, especially after that home run to Santiago.
Carly Piacitelli flexes it foul on a bunt attempt wide of first base. Batting in the 5 spot for Maine, has shown excellent speed on the base paths and has showcased the glove in the outfield. Ball high and tight, gets to the backstop, and that allows McCurdy to trot into third base. It's a passed ball on Charlotte Fithian behind the plate. Piacitelli, also a big Sandlot fan. I think Benny the Jet Rodriguez was a center fielder, if I'm not mistaken. Squints was an infielder. Smalls was in left field.
That is also my favorite movie of all time.
Fillion zips it down to third. Checking in on McCurdy down the line.
I think Benny the Jet Rodriguez might be a pretty big fan of Sofia Santiago so far in this game.
Ham Porter would be a massive fan as that sprayed into left. RBI single for Carly Piacitelli, and Maine is erupting in the first. They've got a 3 spot before 3 outs are on the board.
And how about Carly Piacitelli? This is a great piece of hitting. Goes up and tomahawks this right through the 5-6 hole. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Look how she keeps those hands high, stays right on plane, breaks the spin of that up pitch, and drives in another run here for Maine.
That eludes Fillion to the backstop, and Piacitelli zips into second base.
And I'm not sure with the speed of Piacitelli that Fillion would have had a shot to even get her. She got a great jump off of first base there, and she's going to take third here.
Gets in there without a throw. Speed kills, and Maine showcasing the speed on the bags.
She is like lightning when she gets on the base paths. We saw that in the first 2 games that we've seen Maine compete here. They are fun to watch, really aggressive. And they just manufacture runs. Yes, Sofia Santiago has the big home run power, but for the most part throughout this lineup, it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's running the bases really well. It's getting singles, and timely hitting has been a big key for Maine so far in this tournament.
Third game of the tourney for Maine. They have scored in each first inning. Count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to McDonald with a possible 4th Maine run of the inning waiting at third base. Latour's 3-2.
Get your gloves ready up here. That one was coming to us towards the press box. McDonald just missed that one.
That's high and wide. Third walk of the inning for Latour, and Maine's got him on the corners with 1 gone.
And I would expect here too in a 1st and 3rd situation. Don't be surprised if Maeve McDonald takes off, heads for second to put herself in scoring position and continue to put pressure on this New Hampshire defense.
RBI spot for Amelia Cody. First baseman batting in the 7th spot, waves and misses. McDonald scampers into second base. You like the defensive alignment this early on with Maine piling on runs early, that infield playing back up the middle?
Yeah, I don't mind it as much. I think if you're New Hampshire, you just want to find a way to get outs, as many outs as you can. You want to make sure that you're keeping the ball in the infield.
That's fisted out toward left field, and the Sun catch made by Kinsley Foss. Throw home is late. Piacitelli comes in to score. Sac fly for Cody, and Maine extends its lead to 4.
Excellent execution. We talked about the ability of Maine to manufacture runs. That was on full display right there with Cody, knowing, hey, all I got to do is punch this ball to the outfield and I'm going to score a run. And good base running there by Piacitelli to make sure she waits until that ball enters the glove, tags up, and heads home. And Maine working with an early 4-0 lead here. They love a first inning, don't they? My goodness.
There's jitters. There's maybe some anxiety for a lot of teams playing in front of the stands and in front of TV. And then there's Maine, who just feels right at home in the opening innings. Hannah Wilson steps to the plate. A possible 5th run of the inning at second base with 2 outs. Wilson and McDonald have split second base duties throughout the course of the tournament. 8 first-inning runs for Maine in 3 games in this tournament. There are teams in the regional who haven't scored 8 runs through multiple days worth of play. It's inside.
I love that they're coming out early and just swinging, right? And again, just manufacturing runs, putting pressure on. You can tell it speaks to the preparation of Nathan Schools and this coaching staff. They show up ready to rumble, and it's so much easier, especially at this age, to work from ahead instead of behind.
Latora gets her first strikeout of the inning to finally end the first, but not before Maine plates 4 runs on a pair of hits. None bigger than Sofia Santiago's second inside the park homer of the tournament.
Sofia Santiago showing us why she is one of the best in the business. A phenomenal home run, getting Maine on the board out to an early 4-0 lead.
Four-run top of the first for Maine. They've got an early lead on New Hampshire as we take a look at the New England Regional and some of the rules surrounding region play. 6 teams comprise the New England region. There are 5 left in action after Massachusetts was ousted earlier today with players ranging from 10 to 12 years old. We play in the modified double elimination bracket, which includes this game today. Loser season comes to a close. 6-inning regulation game, 60-foot base paths, and a 40-foot distance between the circle to the plate. Every player on each roster bats in a continuous order from 1 through 12. Speaking of batting orders, here's the New Hampshire Little League order. They're still looking for their first run of the tournament after losing 15-0 to Vermont yesterday. How are they going to get on the board today?
Yeah, well, not just looking for their first run, but looking for their first hit. And Kinsley Winiger, who we saw earlier today, threw 3 innings of no-hit softball against this New Hampshire team. So I think for them, it's just going to be about putting bat on ball, put balls in play, put pressure on the defense, pass the bat, and see if you can cause some havoc on the base paths with your speed and with your athleticism.
Charlotte May Fillion is the first in the order against Taylor McCurdy. That ball fisted through the right side into the outfield. In between both Curdy and McDonald. First hit of the tournament for New Hampshire, and it's a single for Fillion.
It's a great job of setting the tone early by Charlotte May Fillion. This ball is going to be on the inside part of the plate, and she throws her hands at it, puts it in a perfect spot, and with her speed, no opportunity over there between Cody and McDonald.
Taylor Latora rocks it foul down the line and right.
I like the aggressiveness so far, swinging early in counts. Latora swinging at the first pitch there. You could tell they were a little bit timid in their opening round game against Vermont, not quite sure of themselves. So far, these first 2 batters much more convicted in their swings and in their approaches.
Pitcher against pitcher with McCurdy battling Latora. He talked to both coaches, Tim Latora and Nathan Schools, respectively. Both of them reciprocate the same sentiments, that this team comes and goes with their aces in the circle. Latora flares it down the line, foul wide of first base.
We talk about all the time in softball, you need 3 things to win a ball game. You need good starting pitching, good defense, playing clean, no errors, and then timely hitting. So far, Maine's been able to do that really in both of their games. The only thing they were missing was that timely hit against Connecticut, taking the loss there, which put them in this elimination game. But both of these teams certainly have the capability to excel at all three phases of the game.
2-2 high and tight, delayed steal. Throw to second, eludes Tape, the shortstop. It's a stolen base for Fillion, putting herself in the scoring position. Here's the payoff. Latora wraps it on the ground to first. Funny hop controlled by Cody. Throw to third is over the top of Schools. Fillion comes in to score, and the girl who celebrated her birthday yesterday has New Hampshire's first run of the tournament.
Love the excitement from the New Hampshire dugout. You can see Charlotte May-Fillion coming around the bases, just so excited. And this is a great quality at bat. Obviously not going to get on base for Latora, but does her job, and that's a throw that just gets away from Amelia Cody over there at first base, which allows Fillion to come home. And New Hampshire has answered, trying to cut into this lead and crawl back into this ball game. So important for them to get on the board, get some base runners early, get their confidence up after taking that opening round loss.
2-ball, no strike count to Lauren Plodzik in the 3 spot. Bottom of the zone for a called strike. The daughter of assistant coach Jay Plodzik. He coaches first base when these New Hampshire Little Leaguers are at the plate. There's a look at Coach Plodzik, a member of this coaching staff for the last 3 seasons. All 3 years, this New Hampshire team has made it to Bristol. Counts full. That is one thing that when we talk to both Coach Latora and Plodzik, it's a family atmosphere with this team. All 3 coaches have daughters on this club. That's inside. And Plodzik works a 1-out walk.
So far, really good approaches for New Hampshire at the plate. You get a leadoff single, a productive out at bat, and an error that allows that run to come and score. Follow that up with a walk. Just much more sure of themselves. You can tell there's much more confidence from this group today. And how about Hartley Clark? This is one of my favorite players in the entire regional, hitting in the 4 spot. Coach talked about her small stature. You would never know it. Just elite hand-eye coordination. One of the RBI leaders for this group as well. My favorite thing about softball is you don't have to be the biggest kid to have success. I say that as an Olympian that is 5'4". My basketball dreams quickly died when I was younger.
Ball and 2 strikes to Clark. Waves and misses. It's a strikeout for Natalie McCurdy, her first of the inning.
This is going to be a really good location from McCurdy here. Just being able to go on that outside part of the plate. You see a little bit of a down movement with that ball, and it's just right past the bat of Hartley Clark. Big time out there. As McCurdy's just looking to limit the damage here in the first.
First at bat of the day for Presley Roots. P-Money, as she's called by her teammates. Big wave and a miss on a change piece.
And that's a pitch, too, that's going to be important for McCurdy as we go throughout this game. If she can continue to locate on the corners, she can create swing and miss with that changeup.
Adelune Santiago throw to second. Plodzik beats the throw. She's in the scoring position. Maine scored 4 in the top of the first. New Hampshire's got its first run of the tournament, looking for more in the bottom of the inning.
I like going back to the changeup there on a 1-2 count. The changeup doesn't necessarily always have to be a strike. You can use it as a setup pitch to manipulate the hitter's timing. We'll see if she goes with high velocity here.
Usually like that sequencing, changeup to set up velo instead of the other way around.
Yes, absolutely.
Down the chute, got her looking, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Natalie McCurdy. Concludes her first inning in the circle. New Hampshire gets on the board.
McCurdy being an artist, painting some corners here for Maine.
The Little League Softball Regionals on ESPN are presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. What a start for these Maine Little Leaguers. They've made a home here in Bristol, especially when it comes to starting off ball games. They've scored 8 runs in first innings of games this tournament. They scored 4 runs in the top of the first. They take their second licks of the day against Taylor Latora and these New Hampshire Little Leaguers. Nora Emlet out of the 9 spot digs in to start the inning for New Hampshire. Check that for Maine. Former first baseman converted to left field for her current summer of Little League. Her final year playing in the 12U circuit. Maybe an outlier and the only Los Angeles Rams fan on the team, playing their game so close to Gillette Field in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
You have to ask some background on that. What makes her a Rams fan? Big Stafford fan myself, Matt Stafford.
As an Alabama grad, you're a Matt Stafford fan.
I am. Love the way he approaches being a quarterback. Love the fact that he's had such a long career. You gotta respect anyone that plays in Detroit for as long as he did. Awesome to see him have success with LA.
Lucy Coulthard pushes it foul back toward the screen.
And let's also not forget that the Rams just drafted Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson.
Oh, yeah,
All
that's
tied
right.
to that.
Hey, who did Ty Simpson play his last college game against?
Indiana. Don't remind me. He was hurt. We were all hurt.
Coulthard lays it down the third. Plodzik positioned perfectly. Zips it across to get the out. Emlet caught between second and third. Gets back over the second base. Successful sacrifice bunt moves a runner up.
And this is a great sac bunt here by Lucy Coulthard and a great defensive play as well to be able to get this out. That's Plodzik over there at third base, just making an absolute great throw over there to first. Good execution, good softball on both sides there. Maine gets the runner into scoring position. New Hampshire gets the out.
RBI chance for Hayden West, batting in the 11th spot. The Tater Tots batting in the 11th spot. The ball and the strike. That ball socked out toward the outfield, and it drops in over the top of Root. Schmidt goes to third. The throw there is late. It's a single for West to put runners on the corners.
Yeah, Hayden West doesn't get too much of this softball, but she puts it in a perfect spot right in no man's land in the infamous triangle between second, short, and center field, and a good job of base running there as well by Nora Emlet to advance to third. Wouldn't be surprised either if we saw Hayden West take second here. Getting 2 runners into scoring position.
Morgan Allen takes a pie. Delayed steal. And that throw over the top of Roots. Run comes in to score, and West is in the third. Maine gave up a run in the bottom of the first. They get it right back at the top of the second.
Yeah, New Hampshire trying to fool the base runner over here at third base by doing this cutoff play. She doesn't bite initially, but once that ball gets by Presley Root, Nora Emlet trots on home, and Maine adding to their lead, continuing to manufacture runs and be aggressive on the bases. And if you're New Hampshire, you definitely want that one back. I'm sure Charlotte May-Fithian wants that throw back.
Latoro's 3-0 to Allen. 4-pitch walk for the 12-hitter Mo Allen to put runners on the corners. And there goes Allen for second base. What's that saying in Finding Nemo? Just keep swimming. In this case, just keep running.
Maine's doing a great job of that. They've done it all regional long, just continuing to put runner after runner in scoring position. And again with them, it's not necessarily the big home run power. Yes, Sofia Santiago in the 2 spot has been the big bopper for them as she's on deck, but they do such a good job of using their speed, laying down sack bunts.
Sloan Tafe sprays it out toward left center field. That's out of the glove of Schmidt. That scores a run. Allen takes third. It's a Maine parade in the second. Their lead swells to 5.
And Sloan Tafe does a good job of elevating this ball out to center field, and you're going to see Kaylee Schmidt just overrun this just a little bit. Nicks off the end of her glove there.
Santiago flares it behind the plate. Vivian couldn't make the squeeze. That's a tough play. And it gives Santiago another chance at the dish.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest plays in all of softball. Catchers trying to field those foul balls, trying to figure out where your body is in space compared to the fence. I do not envy them. That's why I was in the outfield. I much preferred that angle for fly balls versus behind the plate.
Tafe jogs into second base. Vivian had no intention of throwing down to possibly get into a rundown. By the third baseman Plotzik. This will score both runs. Throw goes to second. Santiago's in there. She's got 4 RBI and 2 at-bats. A 2-run double makes this a 7-run lead.
Man, do I love watching Sofia Santiago swing. It's just a thing of beauty. She's so in control. Elite bat speed, does a great job of using her lower half for power. And then how about the speed? Something that we haven't really talked all that much about with Sofia Santiago. I know Coach told us you can use a courtesy runner for the catcher. We never plan on doing it with Sofia. If we do, something's wrong. She's just been a tone setter and a spark plug for this Maine ball club. Spraying the ball all over the field. I mean, she's got 2 hits today to left field, but we saw her in their opening round win against Massachusetts have a big home run to right center field as well, so she can spray the ball all over the yard. And that's the hallmark of a good hitter, not just having true pull side power, but being able to take the ball the other way. She's totally capable of doing that.
She's halfway to the cycle, a triple and a single away. Natalie McCurdy trampolines it foul wide of first base. Drew Walker, first time up in the opening inning. An aspiring lawyer, Natalie McCurdy. When asked about why she wants to be a lawyer, she said because she loves to argue. Very big fan of arguments.
We'll catch her on the debate team, I'm sure, at some point in her school.
3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Latora wins the second battle of pitcher versus pitcher today. If you want to see some girls with game, tune into an exciting summer of softball by visiting littleleaguesoftball.org for great content, information about start a softball league, and more. littleleaguesoftball.org. Taylor Schools has a possible 9th main run at second base. And there goes Santiago for third base. She's 60 feet away from making it a possible 9-1 game. I did see Legally Blonde. I'm surprised you didn't ask me about that.
I wanted to. I was scared of the answer, if you want me to be honest. Great flick.
Harvard's not too far away from here in Bristol.
Is not.
4-pitch walk. Schools is aboard.
Number 33, Carly.
It's Reese Witherspoon, right?
Are you asking me or are you saying?
Asking.
Oh, okay. I believe so. There goes Schools to second base with Carly Piacitelli back up at the plate. That'd be a question to ask Chat. I'm surprised we haven't seen any of these players say ChatGPT is their favorite app or favorite device.
How times have changed with AI. My goodness.
Piacitelli comes up empty. Latour's a strike away from leaving 2 in scoring position.
This is a big time at bat here for Latora. You want to limit the damage as much as you can. Try to give your offense as many opportunities to crawl back into this game.
That ball knocked on the ground to third base. Plodzik throw the first off the top of Latour's glove. This plates 2 more runs. A 6-run main second makes this a 9-run lead.
Just Maine being Maine, continuing to just manufacture runs and find a way. Great speed down the line there by Carly Piacitelli. That's going to bring in another 2 runs.
Delayed steal, throw to second, rainbows in toward Roots. Piacitelli's got a pair of stolen bases, a couple hits. She's getting her money's worth offensively today.
Getting her steps in, that's for sure.
Off the backstop, and Piacitelli adds to those step counts. Players can get NIL right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure that extends to Little League. Fitbit.
Why not? Yeah.
If you're watching.
We'll be Piacitelli's agent for a day. You could honestly sign the entire main team if you wanted to, with how they've been able to run the bases and just be scrappy and gritty in their approaches at the plate.
Dave McDonald knocks it foul off her front foot. Drew Walker, first time up in the opening frame. Ten runs, 5 hits so far for the Maine Little Leaguers, who are aspiring to play in tomorrow's 10 a.m. elimination matchup against Vermont. That ball socked into the air. Latora waits for it to come down and makes the grab in foul territory to end the inning. With a 6-run Maine second inning has given the Gorham Little Leaguers a firm vice grip midway through 2. How does New Hampshire answer when we return? Welcome back to the Little League Softball Regionals on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Maine is rallied here in the elimination bracket on a sunny Monday afternoon here in Bristol. They've scored 10 runs on 5 hits through 2 innings at the plate. New Hampshire's got themselves in a bit of a hole. Those fans are hoping to rally their troops in this bottom of the second inning. Lily Latora waves and misses on the first pitch of Natalie McCurdy's inning. And time's called. Lily's father, the manager Tim Latora, wants her to grab a couple words of advice, some fatherly words of wisdom down the line. No matter how old you are, there's never too many moments of fatherly wisdom that you can soak in.
No, of course not. I remember when I was in college, even going through the Olympics, I would always call my dad for hitting advice. That's something that started really young.
What was that time difference between Alabama and Tokyo, by the way?
Too much. Too much. Instant jet lag. I think it was, is it 9 hours? It's been so long since I've been over there, but you know, a lot of our professional athletes that play in the AUSL will also play in the Japanese Professional League as well, so they are more familiar with the jet lag, but a lot of good softball played between those two countries, Japan and the United States.
Latora waves and misses to even the count at 2-2. A Diamond Sports family through and through, the Latora clans. McCurdy gets a swinging miss. Her 3rd strikeout in a row going back to the end of the first.
Yeah, Natalie McCurdy's really starting to get into a groove now. Worked her way out of a little bit of a jam in the first inning, but goes upstairs, gets this big-time swing and miss on the up and outer part of the plate, just underneath the barrel there of Lily Latora.
Ball 1 on the turf to Kinsley Foss. High and wide, appeal to first base. She held up, according to the crew chief, Brian Poe, down the line. First year of playing softball for Foss. She has played on 3 teams in 4 months. One of the club favorites, the nickname of Kins.
Such a cool story for Foss, her first year ever playing. softball just speaks to her athleticism, the way that she's been able to pick it up for them and play a solid outfield for them as well, be able to contribute, for her to be able to play on this stage in her first year playing. Really special opportunity for her, and she is a tap dancer, so no doubt that that helps her footwork in the outfield. Let's see if she'll give me some dance lessons at some point.
Well, she waltzes her way to first base on a one-out walk.
See what you did there.
Or tangos. I mean, it takes two to tango. Pitcher, hitter.
It does. There you go.
Not quite a salsa, though. Callie Schmid takes that down in her first at-bat of the day.
Maybe the salsa will turn into a run celebration if she comes around to score.
A ball and a strike to the New Hampshire center fielder, Schmid. Check swing bounder to the right side. Off the glove of McDonald that scoots into the outfield. At the edge of the grass, back-to-back base runners for New Hampshire in the second.
Yeah, and this is just a good job, really good base running over there by Kinsley Foss. She's a tap dancer, and she uses that footwork to avoid both McDonald and the softball there to be able to be safe, and also gives Schmid a good opportunity to get down to first.
Nate Schools, the main manager, maybe asking Brian Poe about if there was interference on that ground ball between first and second base.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that that's what that conversation's about. It doesn't look like there's going to be any sort of overturned call, but certainly I'm sure his eyes were on that. But I didn't see any interference there. Foss did a really great job of timing it up to where she got in the way of McDonald, but also avoided the softball, so there's really not much to call there. Give Schmid the opportunity to get to first, and now New Hampshire with a little bit of an opportunity here, trying to get back into this ball game, down by 9. And if they're going to want to do that, it's going to take plays like that. It's going to take passing the bat, getting some contributions from the bottom part of their lineup here as we come up on the 9-hitter with Grace Petersons.
He's laid down a bunt attempt in back-to-back pitches. Your playing day, what pitch did you feel like was hardest to bunt?
I always felt it was more difficult to bunt the down ball.
That's rolled down the line at first. McCurdy missed the swipe tag, and Petersons is aboard. New Hampshire's got him loaded in the second.
Well, we talked about the footwork of Kinsley Foss, and how about the footwork of Grace Petersons here to avoid the tag of Natalie McCurdy. This is a great job on the bunt of just making sure it gets right down the line, and there is no tag applied there. McCurdy just misses her. And you see Petersons avoid the tag there. And how about the bottom part of this lineup? Getting it done right now so far in this inning for New Hampshire. Foss, Schmid, Petersons. Now we're going to have a pair of birthday twins come up to the plate with a big opportunity here to try to cut into this lead.
First circle visit of the day for Maine. Natalie McCurdy's father, Sean McCurdy, who makes circle visits, expends his first of 3 visits for his daughter today. After the 3rd visit, a mandatory pitching change must be made.
Now batting, number 7, Emilia Conserva.
And speaking of birthdays, here's one of the 2 Conserva twins, Elena Conserva. That's a strike at the bottom of the zone. Emmy Conserva and Elena Conserva celebrating their 11th birthday today.
I know nothing would feel better than a birthday RBI for those 2. 2 of the youngest players on this New Hampshire team.
Charlotte Fithian celebrated her birthday yesterday, had the first hit of the tournament for New Hampshire. Can you imagine how nuts this place is going to be if either of the Conservas get a hit right here on their birthday?
I know those New Hampshire fans are waiting to erupt.
There's a look at Elena and Emmy side by side. That's a strikeout. McCurdy picks up her second of the inning, 4th overall.
Yeah, Natalie McCurdy's not getting involved in the birthday celebrations here. She blows this by Emmy Conserva. Just a good job, good pitch, high velocity. You can see Conserva just a little bit too late there with the swing. And that's a big-time strikeout in a big-time situation for McCurdy. We've seen her so far in this tournament continue to work herself out of some jams. Trying to do that again here to keep New Hampshire off the board in the second inning.
These fans from Concord, New Hampshire, intently watching each pitch. Strike 2. Everyone playing in defensively, as that's a strike at the bottom of the zone. Back-to-back strikeouts for Natalie McCurdy. Torpedo a rally for New Hampshire in the second.
McCurdy firing on all cylinders, continuing to work herself out of some jams, gets big back-to-back Ks with the bases loaded. Maine gonna pick up the bats and try to add to this lead when we come back for the third.
Welcome to the Little League Softball World Series.
This is as big as the event has ever been.
12 strikeouts tonight.
Find the glove!
It is out of here!
The competition has definitely elevated. The best is yet to come.
We'll see what the competition looks like in Greenville, North Carolina on August 2nd. The Little League World Series presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Last year it was West Suburban Little League from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, winning it all. 5 different regions from 5 different been represented in the last 5 championships. Speaking of regionals, here in this New England region, tomorrow at 9 a.m., just announced that all 4 games tomorrow between the Mid-Atlantic and New England Regional are moved up because of impending weather issues. So the winner of this game between New Hampshire and Maine plays Vermont tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Loser season comes to a close. They would join Massachusetts as the second team to see their run toward a World Series appearance come to an end. Here at Breen Field as we start the top of the third, it's a hit by pitch.
And I don't think anyone wants to see a team advance more than Mr. Maine wants to see his Maine team advance. That is a parent who chose to keep his identity anonymous and be referred to as Mr. Maine.
It's outside the Hannah Wilson. He's not hot wearing that wig and the cape back there.
Maybe he's a native Floridian, who knows? Used to the warm weather. It's not hot, it's 78 degrees. I'm close to needing a hoodie.
Are those pit vipers he's got on too?
Could be. Wouldn't surprise me.
Off the top of Vivian's glove. And Cody scampers into second base.
Also really important to note that the winner of this game does get Vermont, and we saw Vermont go into extra innings earlier today, and Kinsley Winiger, their ace and probably the best pitcher in this tournament, went into the 7th inning, so she is ineligible to pitch tomorrow. If Maine should move on and this score holds, you've got to like their chances with Natalie McCurdy potentially getting another start, going again.
Delayed steal. Cody thought about it, said, you know what, why not? For realsies, I'm going to take third base.
Yeah, I love the aggressive base run, and we've continued to see this inning after inning from Maine. Does a great job catching Latoura sleeping in the circle a little bit and taking another base.
Spills off of Vivian's catcher's gear. It's a walk. To put runners on the corners with nobody out.
And back-to-back free passes here from Taylor. A few free passes in their opening round loss as well. So far, that's kind of been the bugaboo today as well, whether it's a hit by pitch or a walk.
Laura Emlet takes up high, stolen base for Wilson. Emlet flashes it foul over toward the first base dugout. Emlet was hit by a pitch, a part of that 6-run second inning. Bounding ball tapped to third. Latoura, check that. Plodzik comes home. Throw is late. Cody beats the throw on an E5 to make this a 10-run Maine lead.
That's good base run in there by Amelia Cody. In a ground ball go situation with runners at second and third, she's going to see that ball down, and right away, no hesitation. Maine continuing to pour it on, using their speed and athleticism to put a ton of pressure on this New Hampshire defense.
Ball upstairs to Lucy Coulthard with 2 on and nobody out. And she's hit by a pitch to load the bases. Maine has had them loaded in every inning today. Hayden West singled her first time up in the second inning. You know, Haley, you mentioned a moment ago with the winner of this game drawing Vermont. At this point in the game, I know it's still relatively early, a 10-run lead. You get the sense Maine would like to end this game before they have a chance to even think of 7. That'll help them get there. That ball into the gap. Plates a run. And here comes a possible second with Emlet coming in to score on the ball that was skittering on the dirt. Maine's lead swells to 12.
Yeah, to your point earlier, Casey, you know Maine wants to end this early and try to get out of here with the win as quickly as possible. Much to the enjoyment of Mr. Maine there. Good job by Hayden West to drive that ball to the opposite field and bring another 2 runs in.
Morgan Allen comes up empty. Allen socks it behind the plate. This is a big inning for Maine as well, because if they were to score 3 more runs, at least 3 more runs, and New Hampshire would be off the scoreboard in the bottom of the 3rd, this game would end due to a 15-run rule through 3 innings. Those are the Little League softball parameters to complete a game through 3, either a 15-run or greater lead through 3, or a 10 or run greater lead through 4+.
And Maine in a really good spot in their lineup right now. Morgan Allen is the 12 hole, but Drew Walk in her last at bat does a good job of turning this lineup over, and the star of the show, Sophia Santiago, is waiting in the hole.
She bounces it to second. The force out is there. Goes 4 to 6. Runners are on the corners as the lineup does turn over to the top. There's a look at those rules in the event that I wasn't able to elaborate those enough. I know words can be hard to digest sometimes. I'm a victim of those. So as you see, 15 or more after 3 or 10+ after 4.
I'm a visual learner myself.
I was just about to say
Shout out to
that.
our graphics team. Appreciate you guys.
My mom's a teacher. She says that some kids are better visual learners too.
I feel like in this day and age too, with all the technology, screens, I feel like a lot of kids are visual learners. I know whenever I give hitting lessons back home too, sometimes the best thing you can do as a hitting coach is just to show kids their own swing. And they can sometimes auto-correct themselves just by having their eyes on something that's mechanical. Yeah, I definitely think this generation probably more so visual learners than any other.
Well, speaking of visual learners, you just saw the graphic a moment ago. 4 RBI and 2 at-bats for Sophia Santiago.
Is that good?
It's a pretty good day at the park.
Not a bad day at the office.
2 home runs in the tournament. Santiago pounds it toward left, that's down. This could score 2, and it does. Sophia Santiago's got 6 RBI and 3 at-bats. 15-1 Maine.
Sophia Santiago continuing to just own the left side of the field. She's getting pitches over the heart of the plate, and she's just using this explosive lower half to be able to pull the ball to the left side. The exit velocity off of her bat is just electric, and she's a triple away from the cycle, Casey.
I'm not sure we're going to get to that point if Maine keeps going at the pace they're at, but it is insane. Possibly this inning if she gets another at bat in the inning.
Could be. You know she wants it. Hitters hit.
Natalie McCurdy takes down in the dirt. You got to be loving the run support that she's got in the circle. McCurdy rockets it wide of first base.
No one's more excited than Natalie McCurdy to see the offensive explosion from this Maine group. A great hitter herself, has already scored a run in this game. The future lawyer stepping up to the plate.
Bounding ball back to the circle. Latora throws to first. The out there. Lily Latora's throw is late. It's an RBI ground out that scores Sloan Tafe, and this is a 15-run Maine lead, almost halfway through 3 innings.
Now batting number 77, Taylor Schools.
Little League is the most trusted youth sports organization in the world, keeping baseball and softball accessible for all kids, but its real power comes from you. Help us rally for Little League by texting RALLY to 345-345 today. Standard messaging rates apply. RBI spot for Taylor Schools, the Maine third baseman with 2 outs. That's fisted to short. 4-hopper for Presley Root, who zips it across, but that eludes Lily Latora. That scores the 17th run of the game for Maine on an E6.
Good things happen when you continue to put the ball in play. That's what Maine has done all afternoon long. It's a throw that just gets away from Presley Root over there at shortstop. You're going to see just a little bit of a low release point there just by Lily Latora over there at first base. And with the speed and athleticism of this Maine team, it can cause opposing defenses to try to rush And when you rush on the defensive side, you tend to make more errors. We've seen that happen time and time again this afternoon.
Wild pitch. Advances Schools to second base, and an RBI spot for Carly Piacitelli. Couple hits today for the main center fielder. Four runs in the first, 6 in the second, 7 in the third for Maine. They had a pair of safeties, a touchdown in the second, and then a touchdown and an extra point in the third.
Tell me you're excited for football season without telling me.
It's around the corner.
I know as an Indiana Hoosier grad, gotta be excited.
I still can't ever believe it. As an IU alum, I'm more excited for football than basketball.
That is pretty wild.
That ball fisted down the line, wide of the bag. Count stays full. I know, it's juxtaposed. As an Alabama grad, you might be more excited for hoops than football.
Well, I'm excited for both. Like, I am not on the bandwagon of Kalen DeBoer hate. I like what he's doing. Can you imagine just trying to take a job after Nick Saban leaves?
That'd be rough. It's a walk to Piacitelli. 2 on and 2 gone. I'm going to try and take a guess where Kalen DeBoer was an offensive coordinator before he ended up in Tuscaloosa.
Offensive coordinator. I know he came from Washington, right? He's a Dakota guy, right? Are you going to make an Alaska reference? Was it IU?
It was Indiana.
It was Indiana, wasn't it?
And it is a ground out induced by Taylor Latora to end the inning. A 7-run third inning for Maine. They're 15 runs up and 3 outs away. The Little League Softball Regionals on ESPN are presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. Welcome back to the Little League Softball Regionals on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. There's a look at the ESPN headquarters, the home of the worldwide leader in Bristol. Casey Roll and former Olympian Haley McClenny with you. You'll be making yourself home at the HQ these next couple days doing studio coverage.
Yes, excited to be able to get over to the headquarters. Shout out to the entire group over at ESPN. I mean, just this coverage of this event, it's special year after year. Obviously, getting able to do games and call games is special, but the studio coverage, just taking everybody coast to coast, and giving these young women the platform that they deserve. It's just really special and a really special event to be a part of.
And that is one thing, too. When these girls are asked about things they look forward to, they say the opportunity to play in front of some cameras in these bigger stages, to enjoy the moment in this summer, especially considering that these may be a lot of players' final appearances in the Little League. And one of those players is Charlotte Fithian. She celebrated her 12th birthday yesterday. She takes a strike to work the count 1-1.
You know, it's going to be really important for New Hampshire. Need to put a couple of runs across in this half inning to keep their season alive. Good spot to be in, though, with the top of the lineup and Fithian coming up. She got the first hit of this regional tournament for New Hampshire back in the first inning with a single.
One of 3 members of this New Hampshire Little League team that's made it to 3 straight regionals. Was an infielder before last year when this New Hampshire's coaching staff decided to turn her to a catcher. Noted her fielding ability and her arm.
Coach also talked about just the leader that she's developed into behind the plate as well. As a catcher, you're the captain of the field. You see it all. You see the defensive alignments. You see where everybody's at. You're in charge of making sure the pitcher does what she needs to do and building her confidence. And the coaching staff was just super impressed with her growth and her character development.
It's knocked back to the circle. McCurdy dispatches Fithian to begin the inning. Little League Softball Regionals continue with the debut of Little League Around the Bases, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Live coverage today of every region from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Taylor Latorra, speaking of players potentially in their final at-bats of Little League. Daughter of manager Tim Latorra, his 3rd year leading this team. All 3 years he's had his daughter Taylor Latorra. You just saw that hat a moment ago as that is fisted foul back behind the screen.
Happy birthday to that. I'm sure that's a brother.
That is the younger brother of Charlotte Fithian, whose birthday was 2 days ago, the day before Charlotte's birthday. I did have a chance to talk to Tim Latorra before the game. He said, you know, I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to capture this or not, but Charlotte's brother celebrated his birthday the day before her birthday, and he's been wearing the "It's My Birthday" hat, trying to get the attention of anybody with a camera. You got the cameras on him.
Well, we got you, buddy. Happy birthday. You're a good brother for spending at the ballpark, watching your sisters play.
That ball rolled down the line at first. Santiago feeling her position, zips it to first. Mains it out away from a date with Vermont tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Wow, this is an impressive play back behind the plate from Sofia Santiago. We talked about her with the bat being able to do damage, but also it's just been rock solid behind the plate. She's going to throw that mask off. Excellent speed and quickness and footwork to be able to get out there and delivers a rocket over there to first base to get the out. Just pure athleticism from Santiago, continuing to show why she's been one of the most prolific players so far in this entire regional.
It's almost, Haley, kind of fitting that these 3 batters who are due in the inning are playing their final games of Little League as Lauren Plodzik stings it up the box. It's a 2-out single.
Now batting number 9, Huntley Clark.
It's up to Hartley Clark to keep the season alive. And we talked about the top 3 hitters for New Hampshire. Lauren Plodzik, another one of those 3 players who have made it to 3 straight state tournaments. This community has rallied big around the Plodzik family, whether it be Coach Jay Plodzik or Mrs. Plodzik, who's been battling stage 4 cancer the last 3 years. This team has hosted a triathlon for raising money for cancer patients. Mrs. Plodzik, despite being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, works in a hospice house, a big pillar in the community. She hosts a runway for recovery events. As you see, Mrs. Plodzik with Lauren and Genevieve, her two daughters. One of the better stories of this New England regional, and the regional that's defined by stories. This main story keeps on going to another day. They dismantle New Hampshire, and they play into round 2 of elimination play with a matchup against Vermont tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
A dominant performance by Maine. It started in the circle with Natalie McCurdy, but how about Sophia Santiago, a triple away from the cycle? We may very well have seen her hit for the cycle should she have gotten a 4th at bat. But this Maine group, they are tough to beat. Manufacture runs, they did it with singles, did it with balls in the gap, did it with walks, just really good plate discipline. And then when Natalie McCurdy is rocking in the circle as she was today, only giving up the 4 hits, worked herself out of some jams, and great job by Maine to be able to get this win in 3 innings, staying fresh for tomorrow. And they're gonna have a really good shot to beat this Vermont team. It's gonna be an exciting matchup. I know one that we are excited to be able to get to call tomorrow, bright and early at 9 a.m. That's gonna be a fun matchup. And remember, no Kinsley Winiger for Vermont as well. So Maine gotta like their chances. We'll see if they can keep their offensive momentum rolling.
New Hampshire becomes the 2nd team to be eliminated after Massachusetts was knocked out in extras earlier today. That'll do it for us. For the former Olympian Haley McClenny, for statistician John LaBombarda, director Isaac Rice, and producer Aaron Snyder-Storm, I'm Casey Roll saying so long from Brainfield in Bristol. Maine dances on to the 2nd round of elimination play with a 17-1 Mercy Rule win over New Hampshire here in Bristol.